Think you need a big yard to grow your own food? Think again! Welcome to the remarkable world of small space gardening. This innovative approach to horticulture turns the traditional notion of needing sprawling spaces for gardens on its head. Instead, it's all about making the most of what you've got, whether it's a tiny balcony, a windowsill, or a modest patio. As urbanization continues to rise, small space gardening is increasingly gaining popularity. And why wouldn't it? It offers a myriad of benefits. Imagine having access to fresh homegrown produce right at your fingertips. Picture the joy of nurturing a seed into a plant, and the satisfaction of seeing it bear fruit. Consider the therapeutic effects of tending to your little green oasis amidst a concrete jungle. Small space gardening isn't just about the plants, it's about enhancing your lifestyle, improving mental health, and adding a dash of nature to your everyday urban living. So, are you ready to transform your small space into a lush, productive garden? The key to a successful small space garden is choosing the right plants. Now you might be wondering, what plants are suited for my confined space? Well, let's dive right in. First off, let's talk about herbs. Herbs are fantastic for small spaces because they're compact, they grow quickly, and they can be used in your kitchen. Imagine plucking fresh basil, mint, or rosemary right from your balcony garden for your homemade recipes. These little plants don't just add flavor to your dishes, but also a dash of green to your space. Next up, we have leafy greens. Spinach, lettuce, and kale are perfect for small space gardening. These plants don't require a lot of space to grow, and you can harvest them repeatedly throughout the season. Plus, they're packed with essential nutrients, making them a great addition to your daily meals. And let's not forget about compact vegetables. Cherry tomatoes and peppers, for instance, do wonderfully well in pots. They add a pop of vibrant color to your space, and they're a tasty, healthy snack. Now here's a little tip. Choose dwarf or bushy varieties of your favorite vegetables. They're designed to grow in limited spaces, and they won't overshadow your other plants. And if you're a fan of strawberries, you'll be pleased to know that they thrive in containers too. These sweet treats are a joy to grow and even more delightful to eat straight off the plant. What's great about all these plants is that they're not just suited for small spaces, but they're also easy to care for. This makes them perfect for both gardening novices and green-thumbed experts with limited space. So when you're planning your small space garden, think about what you like to eat. Choose plants that offer high yields, and don't be afraid to experiment. You might be surprised at what you can grow in a small space. Remember, the right plant choice can make or break your small space garden. So, choose wisely, and watch your garden, no matter how small, flourish into a lush, productive space that's truly your own. In small space gardening, every inch counts. The key is to see beyond traditional ground plots and consider every available space as potential for growing. Let's start with containers. They come in all shapes and sizes, from pots and window boxes to hanging baskets and even recycled items. Consider this, an old ladder can be repurposed into a multi-tiered plant stand, or an unused wooden crate can become a rustic chic planter box. Did you know that even a pair of worn-out boots can serve as a quirky pot for your herbs? The possibilities are limited only by your imagination and creativity. Now let's talk about vertical gardening. This method makes use of vertical spaces like walls, fences, or railings to grow plants. It's a fantastic way to maximize your gardening space, especially when ground area is at a premium. Creating a vertical garden can be as simple as installing shelving units against a wall, or as elaborate as constructing a living wall filled with a variety of plants. You can use climbing plants like beans and cucumbers, or hang pots of strawberries and tomatoes. Even salad greens and herbs can thrive in vertical planters. Setting up a vertical garden is quite straightforward. Start by choosing a sunny spot. Then decide on the type of vertical structure that suits your space and needs. This could be a trellis, a wall-mounted planter, or a pallet garden. Install your structure securely and ensure it can support the weight of the plant's soil and water. Once that's done, you can start planting. Remember, the beauty of small space gardening lies in its flexibility. You can always rearrange your containers or reconfigure your vertical garden as your needs change or as you acquire more plants. In the world of small space gardening, the sky truly is the limit. With a bit of creativity, you can turn any vertical space into a green oasis. Now that you have your plants and containers, how do you make the most of your limited space? This is where the magic of optimization comes into play. With the right strategies, you can transform a cramped balcony or a tiny windowsill into a verdant oasis of productivity. One of the first things to consider is your soil. Not all soil is created equal. For your small space garden, you want a high-quality potting mix that is well-draining, nutrient-rich, and lightweight. This type of soil not only promotes healthy root growth but also ensures that your plants get the nutrients they need to thrive. Now let's talk about hydroponics. This might sound a bit high-tech, but it's simply a method of growing plants without soil. Instead, you provide the nutrients directly to the plant's roots by dissolving them in water. The beauty of hydroponics is that it allows you to grow more plants in less space, and it often results in faster growth and higher yields. Next up is plant spacing. It might be tempting to cram as many plants as you can into your limited space, but resist the urge. Proper plant spacing is critical for ensuring that each plant gets enough light, air circulation, and nutrients. A good rule of thumb is to leave enough space between plants so that their leaves barely touch when they are fully grown. But what about vertical space? This is often an overlooked aspect of small space gardening. By using hanging baskets, trellises, or vertical planters, you can take advantage of the space above your garden. This not only adds an extra dimension of beauty to your garden, but also significantly increases your growing area. Lastly, don't forget about rotation. By rotating crops, you can prevent the buildup of pests and diseases and ensure that your soil remains nutrient-rich. This is particularly important in small gardens where plants are often grown in close proximity. Remember, a productive garden is not about size, it's about optimization. With the right strategies, even the smallest spaces can become lush, productive gardens. So, roll up your sleeves, get creative, and start maximizing your garden space today. A small space garden needs love and care, just like any other garden. But how do you water and maintain plants in tight quarters? The trick is to optimize. For watering, consider drip irrigation systems. They deliver water directly to the plant's roots, minimizing waste and preventing overwatering. Alternatively, self-watering pots can be a game changer. They have built-in reservoirs that provide steady moisture to your plants, perfect for those with busy schedules. Maintenance is equally important. Regularly check your plants for signs of pests or disease. If you spot trouble, act fast. Use organic pesticides or homemade remedies to deal with pests. Pruning is another key task. Regularly trim your plants to encourage bushier growth and better yields. And remember, rotate your pots every few weeks to ensure all sides of your plants get equal sunlight. With proper care, your mini garden can thrive in any small space. Don't just take our word for it. Listen to these success stories. Meet Jade, a mother of 3 living in the heart of the city. She converted her small balcony into a green haven in the concrete jungle. Jade says, "I never thought I could grow my greens. Now I have fresh herbs for cooking right at my fingertips. It's a joy to see my kids fascinated by the growth process, and it's a brilliant way to teach them about nature." Next, there's Ben. He lives in a studio apartment with just a modest windowsill space. But that didn't stop him. Ben shares, "It started as an experiment, but my windowsill is now home to a variety of succulents. I love the sense of peace they bring to my space. It's therapeutic to care for them." And here's Sarah, a retiree who thought her gardening days were over when she moved to a smaller apartment. She says, "I thought I had to give up my passion for gardening, but small space gardening has proved me wrong. Now I have a beautiful vertical garden on my living room wall. It's become a focal point of my home." These are just a few examples of how small space gardening can transform lives. From providing fresh produce to creating a calming environment, the benefits are endless. These success stories prove that anyone can create a thriving garden, no matter how small the space. So, there you have it, a comprehensive guide to small space gardening. We've shown you how to choose the right plants, use containers and vertical spaces creatively, optimize your limited space, and maintain your garden. All these tips are designed to help you transform any small space into a productive, green oasis. Now it's your turn to start your own small space gardening journey. Don't forget to subscribe and share your experiences in the comments below.